If this was happening in yesteryears, but with a very progressive constitution that ushers in a very conk element on the rule of law, we find that this is distasteful, it is in malice, and as the Law Society of Kenya, we will take individual as well as collective action on all those who are responsible, including some of our members who sit in decision-making organs that affect the national security and coordination of interior security. So we are not taking it lightly. You remember that a few months ago, a magistrate in Makadara was killed by a National Police Service officer. And we are not saying that these are isolated instances, but it is unimaginable that in this day and age, the security of a sitting judge will be a matter that the executive will take lightly and in fact react in such a manner. If the executive was not pleased with the decision that was made by the judge, then they would have easily appealed that decision as is in the norm. And so we are saying in no uncertain terms that we are dissatisfied, we are extremely disappointed, and we are going to take legal action as well as extra legal action to ensure that the independence of the courts and the independence of the judiciary are something that are undisturbed.
Yes. Can you really specify, please, what you call something extra legal action? Could you tell us what it is, please? Extra legal action is action that we think we can take in regards to the members of the Law Society that sit in decision-making organs of the state. And those extra legal actions are actions that are reserved within the LSK on how we deal with our individual members. Yes. How many members are you targeting? Are you seeing?
I think for now we just generalize and say all those members. But if you can connect the dots, you will see that I'm specifying a direct inference to particular individuals.
Now, how can you describe the government of William Ruto? How can you describe such moves? And how can you describe the kind of leadership Ruto is having?
It is only a very rogue and recalcitrant governing body that can undertake some of the actions that we see in the Kenya Kwanza alliance. When you talk about the security of a judge, I mean, all the time government goes to court, and a court of law is a place where disputes are resolved. It is not a place where you trade horses. And so when you lose, in fact, the business of the court is that one person wins and the other person loses. The government always sometimes has its way, but not all the time. And so like this time, and it was such a very important petition that the Law Society had filed, there are three missing Kenyans who, as the days go, our hope dwindles. And so you see, we are not saying that we are punishing any person for contempt. We actually just want to ascertain that the elements, the constitutional elements of the rule of law and good governance, Chapter 6 as well as Article 10 are binding to all state officers and public officers. And the Inspector General is one of those state officers. So it is not a shocker that this is happening within an administration like this one. It happened during the previous administration where the then CS for Interior, Mr. Matiang'i, found himself in the same boat. And you remember, immediately he left office, he also had a scare where police officers were used to go to his house and threaten or intimidate him. So we are even telling those that are in these positions that these positions are transient. They are not permanent. You will not be in that office permanently. So the decisions you make right now, always consider that they will also benefit you or harm you. Yes.
And also the issue of, because Masengeli was given 7 days to appear in court.
Yes.
And also the other day he did a written statement that has apologized
yes.
That what step can the court take from there?
But the court is now functus. The court is now, its hands are folded. One way or the other, Mr. Masengeli must present himself to the court to give that explanation. In fact, the court was very, very extra courteous that it did not offer the punitive aspect of the contempt of court order. It actually went to the coercive and made a hybrid and said, if you turn yourself in to court we will purge the contempt. But if you do not, then present yourself either to two people, to the Commissioner of Prison Services or to the CS in charge of Interior, to ensure that now you are remanded in a near prison facility or detention facility. So it is not cast in stone. No one is above the law. If it were me, Maura Kabata, the LSK Vice President, for sure, I would either have attended court or right now I'll be in a detention facility. And he is not above the law. I mean, every public officer and state officer is in one way or the other accountable in a constitutional manner. And these are some of the ways that public officers and state officers will account, by ensuring that they serve in those offices diligently and in respect of who the people of Kenya are.
Still on Justice Mugambi, kindly, as LSK, as LSK, from your seat where you're standing, what options do you have for Mugambi to continue operating after security is withdrawn?
The security of a judge is not negotiable. It's not something that, say, the Law Society can pay additional security for the judge. It is a constitutional prerogative. The Constitution does not say remove. The Constitution foresaw that, and you see the Constitution has a political history behind it, but it knows that executive fiat will include intimidating members of the bench. And so in doing so, Justice Mugambi, the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya and the President of the Supreme Court must, as a matter of urgency, take stern action. And this action must be one that is seen and felt. For instance, they can refuse to register charges from the police. That is in itself a quagmire, because courts will now be full of or clogged with criminal activities, which will not be moving.